Hello and welcome to this episode of Season 6 of W-EPS The Beak. As the weather grows colder around these parts, one EPS activity is just starting to heat up. It's one act season. After a lot of preparation, the team is gearing up for competition. I had a chance to sit down and visit with the coaches about this adventure we call One Act. Were you involved with One Act when you were in high school?
It was.
What was your most memorable part?
I played a pirate and I had a wooden peg leg and we didn't put anything on the bottom of the peg leg to keep me from slipping on the cement, so I completely biffed it.
If you could be any character in the play, which would you be?
I think I would be a narrator just because I would be able to focus on just my lines and not so much the acting part of it.
If I was in One Act, what would I be good at?
I think you would be good at running the spotlight.
How do you feel the season's going so far this year?
I think it's going pretty well so far. The kids are doing well with remembering their lines and we're doing really great with the props and the set.
Identify another staff member you feel would be good at One Act.
I think Mr. Kaup would be really good with One Act because he's one of those people that takes everything seriously, and so I think he would really be dedicated to making it as good as he could.
Were you involved with One Act when you were in high school?
So I didn't have One Act, but we had musicals, and I was in Once Upon a Mattress from Rodgers and Hammerstein, and then also Grease my senior year.
If you could be any character in the play, which one would you be?
I'd probably be Orpheus because he's so dramatic, but he's lots of fun.
If I was in One Act, what would I be good at?
You know what, I would put you in any role, but I think you could do anything. We have a phenomenal cast, but we also have great crew members that participate in a lot of different things. Sound people, light people, we just have all sorts of places for anyone that wants to be involved in One Act.
How do you feel the season is going so far?
Well, considering that we work around football and volleyball, sometimes basketball and cross country, and our kids are just involved in so many different things, we're having a great season. At the very beginning, it's always kind of messy, just trying to figure things out, but as the season goes on, we prepare and prepare and prepare, and then our performances aren't until later on in our season. Our game is way down the road, so we're having so far, a great season.
Identify another staff member you feel would be really good at One Act.
I would say any of our staff members could be really good at One Act. Of course, Mrs. Shu, I think she's the easy one to kind of throw out there because of her talent with speech. But I also think, gosh, we could have it. Oh, Mr. Wemhoff would be great. He'd be a great cast member.
Were you involved with One Act when you were in high school?
I was involved in One Act, and also we always did our One Acts, several of them together in dinner theater, which was kind of fun. And then also I was in the musical.
What was your most memorable part about One Act?
A really small play, and I remember being in it, and the word was V-I-O-L-A, and I thought it was viola, and my One Act coach about died laughing because it's voila.
If you could be any character in the play, which one would you be?
Definitely the siren and the harpy and the fury. I think those would be more fun.
If I was in One Act, what would I be good at?
You do have a Hades, and since you have red hair, that might help. So I could see you in Hades' role.
How do you feel the season's going so far?
Been a challenge, as it is always. We fight for time with activities like sports, but sickness and a hunting season and all these other things. I hope we're focused and can do something really good by the time we're at NVC.
Identify another staff member you feel would be really good at One Act.
I'm thinking Mr. Ostransky.
In addition to chatting with the coaches, I was also able to catch up with some of the thespians involved. That's just a fancy name for actor or actress. Here's what they had to say.
Acting.
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 You would be pretty funny out on the stage. I think you'd be good for one of the more funny roles because I think everyone would laugh at you.
I would say you'd be good at probably Spotlight.
Mrs. Lorderman. Mrs. Lorderman because she likes the acting side of it.
Probably Mrs. Richard. She's very active during One Act.
Mrs. Richer, because she would be the one to go out and actually act out every part and show you how to do it.
Mrs. Kaut because she just has that personality. She's never embarrassed to do anything in front of anyone.
Mrs. Kaup because she is out there.
And Cameron and Colton shot me with like a bow and arrow.
I'd have to say my freshman year when I slipped on stage and fell right on top of little Willie.
My freshman year, I was pulling Ethan back. Ethan slipped and fell on top of me, and I almost hit my head on the thing.
Last year, making it to districts.
William.
It's probably William.
Either Jack or Austin Good.
Jack, definitely Jack.
Jack.
Jack or Ethan.
Always show up for practice.
Don't be afraid to put yourself out there because you're going to look out of place if you're not putting all your effort into it, and it's a lot more fun when you just don't care.
Be yourself, just be open with it, and don't hold anything back.
Show up on time to practices.
Have fun with it. That's one thing. If you're going to go up there and you're going to be miserable about it, you're not going to like it at all. But if you go up there and you just enjoy it, laugh with your friends, it's a great time.
Having to sing on stage with a mermaid tail that was ripping at the seams.
Probably when I tripped on stage at MVC last year.
Probably when we had one act last year at Pope John and we forgot like 3 of our props.
I'd have to go back to me almost cracking my skull open on the rise. It came sudden and we kind of rolled with it and adapted and it was all right.
I think we're doing pretty good.
This season I feel is going pretty good. We are going no scripts next week, so that's scary.
Pretty good. Everything's starting to finally come together. We have lights and sound.
We have a lot of work to do. We're throwing in a lot of extra details that we haven't done in years past, but we're making progress.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Mrs. Shu, because she always keeps stuff interesting.
First person that comes to mind when I think of this is Miss Shu, because she's good at speech, so she'd just naturally be good at one act.
My dad, just because he has that personality and he likes to embarrass me a lot, so I feel like it'd be easy for him to get up in front of people and act.
Mrs. Selting, because she could be pretty funny if she wants to.
I'd probably say Mrs. Shu. She's got a lot of experience with like speech and all that.
No.
My freshman year, I feel like I did a little bit, but not anymore.
Definitely in like my early years of doing it, I did, just a little bit of jitters. But, once I realized that what's really important is going out there and having fun, I just kind of go up there, have fun with my friends, and just enjoy the whole process.
Thank you, coaches and one actors. Get it, one actors? And thank you for taking your time out of your busy day to join us for our latest at EPS. Don't forget to check out our newsletter and watch for our posts on Instagram at W-EPS The Beak. On air, in print, in the know.